And I don't like to correct Andy, but I'm going to have to. Not owner. This is a 501c3.
Oh, I apologize.
That's all right. Yeah, I just want to make it really clear.
You act like an owner. That's how that works. That's why you have a successful 501c3.
I'm stressed and broke. So I guess. So Engage Learning, we're a nonprofit. We started here as a money-losing sole proprietorship, I guess, about 3 years ago. We did a pilot project. But first I'll tell you what we are. It's an informal learning group. We work with public schools and teachers to create remarkable and breakthrough learning opportunities. A lot of that is maker education, but we're expanding into other types of what I think is ridiculously cool ways to help students learn and to keep that learning sticky. So here's our first project. We partnered with the Innovation Hub before they even opened up, and the challenge was, let's take seventh graders, ask them to build a solar power charging station and let them go. And we did. And we gave them all the expertise they needed, let them make a ton of mistakes, and this ended up being, there's a solar panel on the roof. This was their design. It kind of looks like a light bulb from the front. One student on like day 3, we gave him 10 days to do this. On day 3, he spent all night learning CAD so he could then design this in CAD, and that was the design we wanted from then on. And we knew we were kind of onto something if these kids in the summertime, August of 2016, were staying up all night. So we're so excited. This is now at Norman High School in the new courtyard there. And then a couple, we love working with teachers. You see Brian Toomey there on the left and Brad Talley on the left. Neither one we're teaching in Norman now, but we love collaborating with teachers. So I don't see Engage as separate from public education, or in some cases private education. We're very much in collaboration with and how to empower teachers to do stuff they might not have either the resources or the expertise to do. Our impact, and I didn't write this, so I might need to read it. We've been in about 45 schools. If you look on our website, it's way outdated, so maybe Matt and I need to talk. But we've worked with over 1,000 students right now. We have some design competitions that really give us some scope and spread across central Oklahoma. This year we're moving that across the state. Probably 75 different teachers. They are part of the team, and that's been something that's really important from the beginning. 5 full-time folks. Actually, I think it's 8 part-time, and we're looking for more. And maybe some folks in this room would love to help out and volunteer too. We always need expertise. I'm going to run you through just a really quick project over at Lincoln Elementary. We've been in a prefab. We don't have our own space. Engage, we are super agile. We move wherever the opportunities are through partnership with Norman Public Schools. Lincoln gave us a prefab. We've been there for over a year working with the previous 5th grade class and this last 5th grade class. They have designed and now built, and it's almost totally complete, a big part of the playground. So here you see modeling. We go through the whole modeling process. You can see a fort here, and with a bridge connecting to another fort. You're going to see that built out in a second. Alex on the left, your left right there, former architecture student at OU full-time. He loves to teach CAD. He's an amazing designer. So he's teaching these students how to take their drawings, their crayon, marker, pencil, whatever drawings, and put them into CAD. This is part of that fort that came designed. Bill, of course, we bring all the power tools in there. We've been lucky to partnership with DeWalt. They've given us a lot of great stuff. So there, what you just saw. That's over at Lincoln right now. That is the launch center, because the next 5th grade class decided they wanted a rocket. So now we've got a rocket. So this is over at Lincoln. There's about 5 or 6 other installations there too at Lincoln. OEC was a great partner for this. It was a huge project, way too much for us to take on. We did it anyway. We made a ton of mistakes. We're incredibly over budget, and I wouldn't do it any different. This has just been awesome. We got to work with 2 entire 5th grade classes for a semester each during school time. So we had them in groups of 8 to 12, and about an hour and a half each per week. So each group had their own assignments that they helped create, that they then did design. They made their own mistakes, and then we helped them come through. There's also an obstacle course. If I had more time, I'd show you the Chill Volcano, but you can go over to Lincoln and see it. Here's just another quick project. This is second wave manufacturing. So we wanted to do something with students. And Cesar Chavez, another partner of ours, they're up in Oklahoma City, took a dozen 5th graders during school on Friday and said, we're going to help you design and then build a life-size version of your school mascot. It happens to be a Toro. So they started out with learning a slicer program, then we did some laser cutting, ended up building this is about 2 feet big, the model of the Toro. They ended up using the CNC down at the Innovation Hub. We brought them down here, bust them down here on a couple Fridays. So that's life size. Those are big pieces of plywood. Put all those together in layers, the middle's cut out, and now we get this. So we just finished this a week ago. Life-size Toro, you can see there with all the kids who worked on it, Chavez. We're going to repeat this project. It's a fantastic one. What we didn't anticipate is this has then become kind of a place-making item for a school of 1,000 kids. All the fifth graders who graduated wanted a picture in front of this with their parents. The other teachers would come over from other schools, librarians from other schools. So just a really nice mix of second wave manufacturing in terms of digital, then the computerized cutting, as well as art, which is kind of closer. We haven't gotten as close to an art installation as we have with this one. We've got some crazy stuff coming up that looks more like that. Very quickly, a competition we've been running with Devin as a sponsor for about a year and a half, Design and Do. This is again fifth graders, teams about 10 weeks, 7th, 5th graders. All Norman schools have had opportunity to do this. Elementary schools by now will be repeating again this coming year. And we hope to spread this across the country. But this one is design and then build a prototype at the Innovation Hub on your last day of that 10 weeks of a piece of playground equipment again that you might want to have built in your school. So you can see some Devin volunteers here working with kids. They're looking at working with the laser cutter there. Some of this was their first exposure to laser cutting, and we're happy to give it to them. We've gotten some attention. I only put this here because what we're really excited about is something we're terrible at, and I take full responsibility. We're not really good at getting the word out. My background is about secrets, and that's not the best person a messaging person for a really exciting, at least I think, nonprofit. So we need to find somebody who's better at this than I am. Writing a Facebook post, I find exhausting. As much as I'd love to do it for the kids and their families, for anybody else who's interested. But that first Design and Do that we did a little over a year ago, got picked up by Channel 9. They put that story all the way through Texas, all the way down to Florida. I think 28 million people got to see Norman kids for at least 60 seconds doing something really, really cool. And we built out full-size that final winner, which we still haven't completed for safety reasons, but we hope to get that in the ground soon. Norman High School, I'm trying to go super fast. We're going to end with this one with the help of Republic Bank, as well as some other sponsors. Took 10 sophomores and said, let's build a tiny house. And if we can make workout zoning, let's give it the Bridges when we're done. Sophomores designed this. They learned the program. We got them out there working. There's Alex again. Sam's a student. Girls working on it. We're up to this stage as of a few months ago. That's yesterday, or that's the day before. So now there's a roof on it. You see the clear story window up there. It's about 400 square feet. It's literally not a tiny house. It's actually a full-size single-family residence that we hope to donate to Bridges, like I say, when we're done. If we can't, if that doesn't work out for zoning reasons, we'll find another great place for it. This is a project we'll be doing again at Norman High School. They have loved going from ideation all the way through that construction phase. The students do not want this class to end. They're going to work all summer on this, and we're trying to find more ways to partner with former principal, Scott Beck. He just got promoted to something else. But just a fantastic high school that I'm in love with, and I'd love to keep working with them. So looking ahead, we don't have a facility until July. We were given a space slightly smaller than this up next to Mark Twain Elementary in Oklahoma City, which will be our first fabrication lab. Home Depot Foundation is helping us trick that whole place out with tools and do some repairs. The mission there is Devin and Inasmuch are sponsoring that to have us full-time working, or at least a team of 3 of us, full-time working with those 400 students at Mark Twain Elementary. Working with the teachers, doing year-long projects, semester-long projects, 2-hour projects with them. What happens when you bring maker education in a really powerful way to an elementary school in Oklahoma City and commit to being there for a minimum of 5 years? What will those students' expectations of education be who are now kindergartners when they come to 4th grade? What do they, what is their idea of collaboration, creativity, communication, critical thinking? Those are the 4 things we focus on. How are those going to be impacted when they're always working with their hands, making mistakes, making stuff? We'll find out. I'm sorry. Other partnerships, something I'm super excited about right now. We're partnering with Sooner Sports and OU Athletics to use all of the football facilities to teach basic science, basic physics actually, and some math concepts through football. So we'll be doing some day camps in the fall for students. You'll see us out at home games doing some 2-hour versions of the day camp. Thanks. And I think this is something that can scale considerably, can move to other sports, basketball, etc. Let's see, Factory Obscura, Girl Scouts. One of the things we're really interested in going forward is a bit like this partnership with Mark Twain. Not building a site and hoping people are going to show up, but having a built-in community and audience for what we're doing. So whether it's partnering with another school, we're already in conversations with Lincoln about sometime down the road having a facility there and doing the same thing. But with other entities, the Girl Scouts are building a remarkable camp right next to the zoo, the first urban Girl Scout camp in America, and we hope to be their makerspace operators and founders. So there's opportunities like that, Girl Scouts and beyond. The competition, Design Do competition, we're using that platform to do a food science competition. We'll pilot that this fall. So that's where 7th graders will then design and then learn all the basic chemistry to, in this case, probably create a food bar that will they'll compete with other 7th graders. But we have all kind of restaurant partners and others who want to be part of that, even the state's interested in that. So I will wrap up there. Thank you so much. Yeah.
That's a lot of awesome information. So I know there's some questions for Bart. Anybody want to start us off? Right here. Right here.
How are students selected to be a part of the program?
Great question. We started off with those 7 students. The teachers just put out a call and said, hey, here's what we're doing, who wants to show up? But those were often, and we did our first 3 pilot projects like that, very academically motivated, parents were very invested in school and kind of kids. I love those kind of kids. I was that kind of kid. I'm much more interested, however, in the democratic approach, how we deal with an entire, at least class or entire school. That's what we've moved towards. And now it's just aggressive principals or teachers who say, we want you to do something with us. And demand is a problem that we have worked with on kind of the other side. We don't have the capacity to respond to a lot of the interest. So we're planning out. So we're programming Project with Jackson plans for the spring. We're going to go back. We have Project Roosevelt right now. We have to go back in a year. Lincoln will return too. But sometimes it's parents who are, if they're interested enough and say, I want you to do something with my kids. I want you to do something with the school where my kids used to be. Then we'll find a way. They're very collaborative partnerships. But there's not an application process online or anything like that. Yeah.
Sure. Do you have any comments on how the kids collaborate? Like, do you use a methodology or something like that?
Yeah, there's a long answer to that one. Yeah, a lot of it depends on their age. When we started with middle school, we've moved up to the high school. Well, now we're working all the way from pre-K at Mark Twain through 4th and 5th grade. So it all depends. But one thing is the magic number of 12 or fewer students in a team. Keeping teams really, really small. 9 is ideal. And this actually goes back to some literature from the 60s about what's kind of the ideal number for a focus group or for something to memorize. And it's, I think it's 7 plus or minus 2 is the name of the article if you want to go look at it. But so 9 is a great team size for us. Anything other than that, you might have some students left out on the margins. And our focus is always everybody's doing something to push the project forward, even if it feels not essential at the time. And that's one cheat we have that's super advantageous over a lot of teachers who might have 30 or 35 kids to work with. We've got 4 adults and 12 kids. And so it's a pretty good model for us, and hopefully for them too. Yeah.
So it seems like a lot of your curriculum is focused on engineering and you're beginning to move into the sciences. But do you have any plans for some other STEM type programming that you want to do?
Yes, I mean, we have more plans than we have ability to over time to execute. My background is humanities. I can't wait until we're doing, and this will I think start happening with elementary school this fall, until we start doing maker and project-based learning with English class, with poetry, with Shakespeare. I don't know exactly how that's going to work. Engineering is the easiest way in, and that's why we started. Also, the iHub was coming online at that time, and they had this incredible space. They were very open to collaborate. But when we can find ways to help make literature and writing sticky and fun, and I don't know exactly how we're going to do that yet, but that's a challenge that I'm particularly personally excited about getting at. Yes?
How did you go from secret keeper to, what was the seed to transition?
Moving to Oklahoma. Yeah, so moved here about 3 years ago, kept my DC-based job. And I was flying back and forth. We had a newborn and a 3-year-old at the time, and I didn't want to do that anymore. I love being a dad, and I wanted to be with him. So the question was just, what can I contribute, given kind of some maybe non-traditional background and experiences? How can I do something that I'm excited about that will help this place that I want to stay? Yeah, so hopefully I might have found something that's at least close to that. But that's why, and that's how.
It's really cool, Bianca.
I hear Bridges is an awesome organization, so I absolutely love seeing the progress. And one of the things that I would love to, and I might have mentioned, remind you of, and also tell you about too, is that Bridges has what's called a student internship program. So anyone who's a business owner or who runs a business and needs an extra hand, but maybe doesn't have the capital, we are able to pay the student through a budget that we have to get some hands-on experience. So if you absolutely need an extra hand in some of your camps and ideas, and if you'd like to develop camps while you're away at Panama, we are happy to lead you to students who can do that and at no cost to your business. So definitely keep us in mind for any of
No, we'll talk after. Yeah, there's we could love some extra hands this summer, for sure.
Absolutely.
Other questions right here?
What's your safety protocol for giving these kids power tools?
Standard OSHA safety. So almost all, with the exception of one of our full-timers, have worked 2 or 3 years as college students at the Innovation Hub. So they learned all the safety protocols. They developed their own video tutorials that we've now sometimes borrowed, sometimes improved upon. Students will watch all of that, will practice with all of that. There's a different badging system. And this has only come online. It's a great question. It's only come on for us in about the last year. We've always done training, but we've made it much more formalized now with the tools that you have to have watched certain videos and then pass certain quick quizzes until you're allowed to use certain tools. Yeah, but there's never tool use, like you saw a miter saw there, without somebody right next to that, with that student, one of the adults. We do 7-3 with drills and drivers, but anything like a saw, we're far more protective of than that. And with the younger students, they often get a chance to work with those tools at all. So 4th graders are even more wary. But just giving them a chance to participate in that design process and that whole ideation, they own that idea. I wish I could show you the stuff at Roosevelt. It's pretty remarkable what that 4th grade class did. It's powerful enough for them many times. And see that idea come to fruition.
Especially here in Oklahoma, you see a shift. We don't really have wood shop anymore. We don't really have homemaker anymore. You see more of a shift in the educational system to supporting organizations such as yourself to do that, to fill in that role.
I love that question. I don't know if it's unique to Oklahoma, and I come from Northern Virginia, and it was the same thing there. Like there was a wood shop. We think of ourselves as maybe the 3rd shop, 1/3 technology and 1/3 design. When you put those 3 things together, it's when you get kind of real excitement with the students kind of own that project, and it's always collaborative. But I do see lots and lots of interest in Oklahoma, whether it's in rural Oklahoma, which we're interested in working with more and more, or in Edmond, where we're not as much of a rush to go to, because Edmond kids often have lots of other opportunities. The interest is very, very strong in all those places. Yeah, so whether it's Oklahoma specific, I couldn't tell you. But I will say that maker education as a whole, nationwide, is very, very compelling. It's been demonstrated to be incredibly effective. It's just hard and it's expensive to do, especially to do it on a scale like we do. And that's been if you ask me what one of the big challenges of Engage is that we're expensive. It costs money to bring in some full-time people to work with kids. And fortunately, we've got, so far, got corporations and now foundations in Oklahoma who want to help empower us to do that. Yeah.
Time for a couple more questions. Matt?
Best case scenario, 5 years from now, what do you see?
5 years from now, Engage, and this is going to sound uncomfortable for me to say, just because. But I think we'll have 3 or 4 more locations like the Mark Twain facility, where we'll have a full staff with a maker lab that's running year-round, working with either a school or an organization, an arts organization, like the Girl Scouts. We'll have a solution for STEM in rural Oklahoma that is new and effective. That's a nationwide challenge, and Oklahoma is a great test case for how do you bring super high quality STEM education to rural students. That's a problem that keeps me up at night because it's important and it matters. And then we'll have a couple competitions that have scaled across the state too, and probably in other states as well. The sports science stuff, Engage Sports Labs, that can go to Fayetteville just as easily as it can go to Nebraska just as easily as it can go to Dallas. So that's one that I think will scale really well. And it's just about leveraging stuff that's already there for the benefit of kids.
Okay, one final question. I'll ask it. Well, maybe we'll do 2 here, Matt. Go ahead and I'll ask mine as a follow-up. Go ahead.
How can we help? What do you need?
Love that question. There's probably as many ways to help as there are people in this room. Besides being Engage's banker, for example, and being helpful that way. Probably everybody in here has a skill that we could use, whether it's volunteering with a competition day, that you don't have to be an engineer to do that. If you're an artist, we're moving more projects in that direction. If you know construction companies that may want to partner with us, even small, like we've had some great help in the tiny house from a 2-man crew that does framing every now and then. They said, hey, we'd love to help you guys. We heard about this. And that's been incredible.